Hi everyone, we're going to look at reflections today, another transformation called a reflection. We're at the top of page 306. Okay, so a reflection is a flip, basically when you flip an object across a line of reflection. Okay, so it looks kind of like this. Would be a reflection. So our line of reflection is this red line M, and we are taking this four-sided figure ABCD and we reflected it over this line. It's like we took it and we flipped it over this line, and it's now ABCD prime. So notice that your original, your pre-image and your image are still the same size and same shape. They're just facing different ways. We call those orientations. So they're same size, same shape still, but just facing a different way. So think about your reflection when you look in the mirror. This is the same thing. So you're going to see yourself the same size, the same shape, but you're facing opposite directions, okay? So another thing about reflecting over a line is that each point is the same distance from that line. So think about this as the center. So C, our original point, looks like it's maybe 2 units to the left. You're going to go back to your center and graph it 2 units to the right. They're the same distance from each other. So B would be exactly this amount to the left. You reflect it over that line, so it's the same distance from your line to the right now. Same thing. Point A is directly across from itself, but the same distance from that center line that A prime is. And same thing for D. It's like if point D were looking in the mirror and the red line would be the mirror. It's going to be the same distance on the other side of that reflection. Okay, so turn to page 305 and let's look at this one really quickly. Page 305, I'm at the very top. So we have this polygon, ABCDE. I know this is our pre-image, the one we're starting with, because it does not have the prime symbol. So this would be the one you would start with, and it's saying graph and label the vertices of ABCDE and its image prime after a reflection across the x-axis. So it's asking you to reflect across the x-axis. That is your center line. Okay, so this x-axis is right here, so this would be your center line, and this is what I would do. I would actually draw that line in so that you see that is your center line. Okay, so these points are going to be the exact same distance from that center. So what you do is if point A is 2 units above that center, you're going to go back to the center line and graph it directly across 2 units below. This would be A prime. Okay, B is, go back to the center, 1, 2, 3, 4 units above your middle line, your center line, line of reflection. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 units below. That would be B prime. You have to label your points. Okay, so C, you're going to go to your center line, and point C is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units above your line of reflection. So you're going to go back to the line and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units below. That would be C prime. Same thing for D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units above. You're going to go back to your line of reflection and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units below. And E, point E is 1, 2 units above. Go back to the center line and count 1, 2 units below. E prime. This is my image after I've reflected this over the x-axis. Okay, so now let's take a look. Go back to page 307 now, and let's take a look at number 7 at the very top, page 307 at the very top. So this says trapezoid ABCD is shown. Draw the reflection of trapezoid ABCD across the y-axis. So it's telling you your line of reflection is the y-axis. So what you're going to do is you're going to find your line of reflection and draw it in. And you want to make sure you do this like with a pencil so that if you make a mistake, you can fix it. I am going to use red pen so it shows up. So here's your y-axis. This is my line. So right now, my figure is on the right side of this line. I'm going to reflect it over that line, so it's going to land on the left side. So now what I do is point D is 1 unit to the right of this line. So I'm going to go back to the line and go 1 unit to the left. That's going to be D prime. Okay, let's do A. Point A is 1, 2 units to the right of my line of reflection. I'm going to go back to my center line and count 1, 2 units to the left. That's A prime. You have to label your points, folks. Okay, so let's do B. B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units to the right. I'm going to go back to the center and count 6 units to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to be B prime. And then C is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units to the right. I'm going to go back to the center and count 8 units to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be C prime. And then I connect the dots and draw my figures. So your figure, your pre-image and image should look the same size and same shape, but facing opposite directions, facing different ways. We call that different orientations. Okay, so now I'm going to jump over to page 306, back to 306. Let's take a look at number 5 on page 306. It says use the coordinate grid below for numbers 5 and 6. Okay, so now it says describe the reflection of figure EFGH. Describe the reflection. So when you're asked to describe the reflection, they're asking what was the line of reflection? What line was it reflected over? So now your job is to figure out what the middle of these two figures would be. See, this is your image, your pre-image, what you started with. This is your image after you reflected it because it has the prime signs. So now if we were to draw a line right in the middle of those, it would be right here. Our line would be right there. That is the middle of these. So our line of reflection, the way we write this is, see how it's crossing the y-axis at 4? So our line of reflection would be y equals 4. That would be our line of reflection, y equals 4. Okay, so again, it wasn't the x-axis or the y-axis this time, it was this line right here. So what you do is you look at the axis that it's crossing, so it's crossing the y-axis at 4, and so again it would be y equals 4. That's the line of reflection for this one. Okay, so let's do this one. Draw the image that would result from the reflection of figure EFGH across the line x equals -1. So now this time it's asking you to reflect that figure over the line x equals -1. So now what you do is find -1 on the x-axis. Find -1, here's -1 on the x-axis, and you draw a line across that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reflect this red figure over that line right there. Okay, so now H. Again, it was x equals -1. That was the line they were telling you to reflect across. So I find -1 on the x-axis and draw a line across it. That would be my new center line. So now H is 1 unit to the left. I'm going to go 1 unit to the right. G is 1, 2, 3 to the left. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to the right from this red line. Okay, F is 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. F prime, and E is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the left. 1, 2,